Good morning, everybody. This morning I'm at Hubbard Valley Park, which is right off Route 3 in south side of Medina, Seville area. Beautiful area. I'll show real quick before I get started, but catch a good bit of fish out here. Well, actually, I watch other people that I'm with catch fish, but there's a couple really good spots to fly fish here. Obviously not where I'm standing. I would leave all my flies in the tree as I usually do, but anyway. This is such a cool park because as I wrote in the narrative, and as I was writing it, I was walking up here, but I got to show you how cool this is. Someone left this here. Here's a little chocolate Santa Claus and a plastic poinsettia. And anytime I've come out here, there are like Reese's cups or little trinkets. One time, a friend of mine and I found this package. It was like a geo tracker or geo, what do you call that? Geo spotting, whatever it's called. It was out here. So anyway, that was pretty neat. So I do like coming out here because I also took a picture earlier of a decorated Christmas tree just like along the trail. So, but so I wanted to talk. Yesterday I was having coffee, and Laura, if you see this, I apologize, but Cool Beans was closed. 1904 was closed, so I had to go to Starbucks. So I apologize, but I was at Starbucks with a friend, and we were chatting, and this gentleman interrupted me, and I kind of vaguely recognized him, and I didn't really know from where, but then I realized it was from Facebook because he started talking to me. He goes, "Hey, I love your videos, and I don't know why this morning your video didn't have a story. I always watch your videos, but I want to hear the stories because I think that the way you tell them is funny." And I thought that was pretty awesome. So that guy's name is Bo Overman. He's a friend of mine here on Facebook. He's a great Medina guy. I just didn't recognize him off the rip. But so here's my story. It has a little bit to do, again, lessons learned 31 years ago that not learned then, processed sometime over time. But I'm going to go back into boot camp, and funny enough, I'm going to bring up my roommate whose ass I got kicked every day for a week because I was wearing the wrong shirt. So anyway, when I went to boot camp, they almost put me in what's called MRP, which is medical reconditioning platoon, because I was malnourished. I went into boot camp 6 feet tall, 133 pounds roughly, and physically I could do more than the minimums, but they were concerned, and I had to see the doctor. And of course, you know, the last thing you want to do as a Marine is get recycled, because your chances of finishing, well, that's probably with anything, your chances of finishing or your odds of finishing probably go down tremendously. And I wasn't there to go into some rehab platoon. I was there to work. So they let me stay. And the first thing I noticed was the food was phenomenal. Now, that might sound funny because Paris Island is probably not known for their cuisine, but coming from where I came from, three meals a day was awesome, and they were actually good. So my drill instructor wanted to fatten me up, and if any of you guys out there were fat bodies or road cones, you know how pissed off you probably were when you saw someone slide an extra egg over. Knowing that you could only eat like an egg and a piece of bread. I saw those fat body trays, and I felt sorry for you guys. But anyway, onto the story. As we progressed through first phase, I put on about 15 pounds, probably all muscle, just because I was eating right and I was working out and doing things for the first time in my life that were good for me. So I got very strong very fast. I was able to do, the 20 dead hang pull-ups. Actually, we used to kip back then, so I won't say they were all dead hangs, but I got my pull-ups in, and I was a pretty fast runner. So things were progressing along very nicely. We get to phase 2, which is rifle phase, and the food there's not quite as good. But then between phase 2 and phase 3, you have that mess and maintenance week, and this goes with the story that I was talking about when my drill instructor told me if I was smart enough to operate a backhoe, then I wouldn't have any fucking problem with the wheelbarrow. So my senior drill instructor told me and Lynn's, because we were still probably the smallest two in our platoon, he said, "You guys are, when you serve food," and that's what we did for mess and maintenance, we serve food to the 3rd Battalion recruits. He says, "When you guys serve food, you two are going to be my pastry recruits, and every time someone's not looking at you, I want you to be eating." And I looked at him astounded because I was starving the whole way through boot camp. Even though I thought the food was good and adequate, I was still very hungry all the time. And as were probably every other recruit there. But I was kind of astonished, and I was like, I don't know if this guy's setting me up or what. And he looked at me, he says, no, for real, you're going to BWT, which is basic warrior training, next week. And there's not going to be a lot of food there for you. So Linz and I, first day, we go into the reefer, and I tore out this frozen lemon meringue pie, and I ate the whole fucking thing. And I followed it up with a full bag of Nestle chocolate chips. And I proceeded to get so sick that I couldn't eat for like 3 days. And I ended up losing weight to go to BWT. So that was my gluttony and how it punished me. And what it really taught me later. And I don't think this was a lesson that the drill instructor was trying to teach me. I really think he was trying to hook us up and get us a little bit heavier before we went to BWT. But what's really funny is a few years later, when I was a reconnaissance Marine, we did this thing. Things are different now. When I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, we had vehicles, and I hated vehicles, and I always wanted to be dismounted. I like being on my feet, but you're stuck in vehicles a lot over there. When I first joined the Marine Corps and was a reconnaissance Marine, vehicles were for bringing shit to you or taking shit away from you. You didn't ride in them, or rarely got to ride in them. On occasion, we would ride in them to the airport to catch from the drop zone after we jumped, and they would take us back to shake out parachutes and shit like that. But we walked everywhere, and so everything was scrutinized. Like, do I carry this? Do I carry that? We never had cold weather gear because it just took up too much room. We had radios and ammo and all this shit to carry. So anyway, the biggest thing that you had to do was MRE, the meals ready to eat. They come in a kind of a big package. So we did what's called rat fucking them. And I'm pretty sure Marines to this day still do it. And so what you do is you'd cut open the top of the package, you dump everything out, you'd roll the crackers into a ball about that big around. You take the main meal, the crackers, the peanut butter, if they give you peanut butter or jelly. We had very enduring terms for all this. We had the oatmeal butt plug. We had corned beef gash. I mean, you name it. The food was, those were pretty awful. But we rat fucked our MREs, and you'd take enough to sustain you for like a 3 or 4 day mission. The funny thing is, the way we always ended up training was, if they told you you're going to be out for 2 days or 3 days, it was usually all of a sudden you'd get a radio call and your extract had not only moved 10 kilometers, but also was delayed a day. So you never had enough food or water. And what I realized very quickly is, if I had played like that pastry recruit and eaten my whole pie the first day, it would have been a long, long wait. And I always admired the guys who, when we finally were extracted and got on the helicopter, they would have something left to eat, and they would eat it on the helicopter. And I admired them because they had the discipline to do that. And they also had the foresight to know that you're never really out of there until you're out of there. So anyway, Bo, I hope that story suffices today. Maybe it was a little too long and drawn out. Maybe it didn't have all those creative points, but it just, talking about Linz the other day, that jogged that story about how I made myself so sick that I couldn't fatten myself up for BWT. So anyway, that's it. Don't be a fucking pig. I guess that's the moral of the story. You guys have a great day.